Hi, Austin.
Hi, Bija. How have you been able to dress professionally while still feeling like yourself?
Well, I love adding pieces and colors that speak to me. I love wearing bold colors. I'm not wearing bold today, but I love wearing bold colors and prints. And so being able to add that to my professional look always makes me feel, it gives me that personality, identity that I get to keep in my
Awesome.
professionalism.
Would you say that did you ever look into things like color theory? Like I'm trying to get into like the color theory thing and how it relates to skin types and textures. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yes, I feel like I get a compliment every time I wear like a red. So I'm like, I think it does work. So yeah, definitely doing like the color matching and seeing what stands out on your skin is
So important.
so important. Yeah. Last episode, we talked about how Sarah Doyle and Melissa Whelchel started the Doyle-Whelchel Scholars Boutique to provide our Snow scholars with free clothing, shoes, and accessories to help them navigate day-to-day life and professional careers.
Today, we're sitting down with Sarah again to talk about what it looks like to exemplify professionalism in your clothing choices and how to find your sense of style. I wanted to, now as we talk about the transition, I wanted to ask, what did your style look like in the different industries you've been a part of?
Oh, that's a great question. And I will never forget my first interview suit. I told you my mom took me shopping, and I was an economics major, and my first job out of college was at a financial institution in Boston, which is a very traditional and conservative city.
Yes.
So I had a very conservative navy blue business suit, a skirt just past my knees, what I would call flight attendant navy blue pumps, and the navy blue jacket with the white blouse underneath. But it served me well. I got a lot of miles out of that suit and many others that weren't very different from it. And it helped. It helped a lot. But then from there, I went to a research and stock market boutique here in Boca, and that was business casual, and it basically looked like jeans and a button-down blouse and some nice shoes every day. And then from there I became a mom and a full-time volunteer, so just kind of anything went there. But it changed dramatically, and as time goes by, the landscape changes for what's acceptable. And I would say the best way to go is to be conservative on your first day or week, and then kind of take the pulse of what everybody else in the office is doing. And you really can't go wrong from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. So you kind of answered my next question, but to add on to that is what things do you do differently now in terms of like style? So you talked about the first part of my question was how did your style evolve, which you answered. So what do you do differently now?
Well, things have changed, but I'm always thoughtful about what I'm doing and what I'm wearing when I'm doing that. When I mentor young women at high school up in Lantana, I dress the way that I hope they think is professional and thoughtful and presentable. And I hope that they're kind of seeing that and keeping that in mind for when they're maybe in front of a group, or, you want to look presentable. It doesn't have to be a certain exact style. I thought about what I was going to wear today. It is hot. We're in South Florida. I did bring a jacket, but I looked around the room, I took the temperature, and I was like, okay, I don't need my jacket today. I just always try to look the part of whatever the event or wherever I'm going to be is. Whether it's a board meeting with, a nice dress with my shoulders covered, if it's a casual lunch, some nice shorts and a shirt. It varies, but I still do consider, how to fit where I'm going and who I'm meeting with.
I guess this is more of a personal question, but do you dress in layers so that like depending where you
Always.
are, you can.
Always, especially down here, but I always do. I always have a sweater or some sort of blazer or jacket to throw on. And it's as simple as that. Sometimes that extra layer can change the dynamic of your outfit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That kind of touches on, well, everything you said kind of touches on the next question I was going to ask. But what, besides the jacket, besides the additional layer on top, what small details do you think makes the biggest difference in how professional someone appears? Like, what are the small little things that one can change that could take a otherwise simplistic outfit into like, wow, like this person is dressed for the occasion?
Okay, that is such a great question because it even goes beyond the outfit. Grooming is really important. People look at your fingernails. They look to see if they're filed neatly, if they're clean. How many earrings do you have in? And I know that the style now is a lot of earrings, but just, kind of like tidy. And you can, change them out according to whoever you're meeting with. Hair, is your hair combed? Just the way that you groom yourself really does make a great impression. So, it sounds basic, but it doesn't always happen. And the final thing I would say is the expression on your face is really important. You wear your expression as well. And I would remind everybody, when you walk into a room, smile. Look pleasant, look, excited to be there because that's a big one.
Right.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone who wants to look professional while still showing their personality through clothing, grooming, and overall style?
I think that's a great question. And I also think you should always be yourself. Because that's what you're going to be most comfortable in. And there is a way to put on an outfit, to do your hair or to style your hair for the young men that reflects who you are, but in the appropriate way. And so I would say, if you're not sure, come with some ideas. I mean, TikTok and social media in general is just filled with inspo, right? So, bring it into the closet or through email and we can help guide you and, make sure you're expressing yourself as true as you can to who you are, but also in, a professional way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, happy to help.
And that advice you gave in the beginning about, dressing more conservatively on your first day at the job or your time going into an interview, is really a good segue into the question that I'm about to ask. But I wanted to ask you, what does dress for the job you want mean? For someone who's like, okay, I get it, dress conservatively, I understand that, but maybe I'm a scholar, maybe I'm a student. I'm never exposed to that environment. I'm going for my first job interview. I'm going for this first internship interview. And how does that dress for the job you want quote apply to students or early professionals?
Yeah, like I said, and for example, my job straight out of college, financial institution in a conservative city, ask around. Again, I keep referring back to social media because it does serve in a positive way in so many capacities, this being one of them. Do the research, look and see what people are wearing in the industry that your focus is. Obviously, it probably wouldn't make sense if you're going to, be promoting nightclubs in a PR industry to wear a navy blue, Liz Claiborne suit. But yeah, do the research, ask around, talk to people and peers. When you're at a university or a college, you are surrounded by so many peers that, have experience or professors even. And then again, us, Melissa, myself, and the team we're slowly building, we can help. So yeah, it's really specific to the industry and it does vary. You just want to make sure you're kind of meeting the standards of whatever it is that you're looking to do.
Awesome. And I think what you mentioned also about that grooming, taking that onus and consideration into like, hey, I can I know I have to look a certain way, but I
Mhm.
also want to make sure I groom myself a certain
Yeah.
way. Depending on the occasion is really important. Just understand, like, I think your advice about taking stock and taking inventory is like really, really
Mhm.
instrumental for students or anyone really to get a grasp on like, okay, I know that going to be in this setting. How can I meet the mark? How can I meet the
Mhm.
occasion? Or how can I trend set the occasion? How can I start changing the way in which I present myself to
Mhm.
be more open in these things. That's that option about like going into a room and like your impression about your smile or just the way that you carry yourself into a room speaks volumes to so many people.
Sure does.
It could really set the tone and tenor for the conversation before it even begins.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. So, how does what you wear affect how you feel and perform? Has there been a time when you compared your clothing choice to others, and how did it affect your confidence?
Oh, that's a good question. And yeah, I remember when I was a little girl, I was at a splash party. I know this seems just so small, but I will never forget it. I was at a splash party, and all of these little girls had these cute little bathing suits with tutus on. And I had this bathing suit that every time I jumped in the pool, it like sagged.
Oh no.
And it would have been the most fun party, but I was so self-conscious about my bathing suit, and I just stood out. I didn't fit in, and I didn't feel good about myself, and it just stuck with me. And you know not everybody has the opportunity to have that cute little ruffle bathing suit, and
Right.
that's okay. But you know the way that you feel in whatever you're wearing is going to carry with you. You need to feel good. Now, it's okay to feel a little uncomfortable in a suit if you've never worn one,
Mhm.
but you need to feel that you fit into the environment that you're presenting yourself in, right? And not everybody, especially college age students, have the funds to make that happen, which is why I and the Welchels and my husband feel it's so important to give scholars that opportunity.
absolutely.
Yeah. So small little story, but it carried with me for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as you can see, I'm sure it's been years since that.
I was in second grade.
Well, it still shows that like it does carry with you,
Yeah.
and it does matter that much.
Yeah.
It does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for our listeners, can you help us differentiate between terms such as like business casual, business professional, and business formal? And like, what do you think are like a second part of that question would be, what are some essential pieces maybe that students should have for each style that can go interchangeably?
Well, that's a great question. And we are going to definitely send this information out in a very detailed email. However, just a quick kind of overview. Traditional business attire, business formal, I guess is what we would call it now, is a suit. Suit pants, suit skirt, usually a button-down shirt or something very, conservative, and closed-toe shoes, maybe even nylons for the women. Business casual would be, dress pants, and depending on the season, and this varies for different types of business. But usually it still is a closed toe in the summertime, sometimes a sandal, but a professional sandal. We're not talking about a flip-flop or a croc or anything like that, and a short sleeve dress shirt. And then there are, like I said, offices where jeans are the norm, and that's wonderful, and sneakers are okay. You just need to know what environment you're walking into.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But more detail to come on that.
And does professional attire have to be neutral, or what colors do you think would say go together while still maintaining a professional look?
Again, I would not want to answer this without knowing which industry we're talking about, because it varies dramatically.
Yes.
Right.
And that's something that we would be happy to help on a per case,
Basis.
Yeah, per case
Awesome.
basis.
All right. So it's about more than what you wear. So since you mentor young women at Women of Tomorrow, What are you seeing, and how can they exhibit confidence?
You know, these women are amazing, and I think they've got the confidence in them. I know they do, and I've seen it. We've talked a lot about, dressing appropriately for various occasions. I think a lot of it just comes from belief in yourself that you are incredible and that you can do this, and surrounding yourself with the right type of support, peers, friends, family members that are going to lift you up and take you with them. Yeah, I mean, look, these are high school students, and the students that I'm mentoring don't have uniforms unless they're in the ROTC program or the, the pre-med tracks.
Yeah.
Then they have to wear the scrubs.
Yes.
But, for the most part, they're just normal high school gals wearing, jeans and sweatshirts and Crocs, and that's fine. I mean, they've got their hair done nicely and their nails done. And yeah, they look good. But, we're just kind of prepping every year for what's to come and, trying to help guide them to be successful in all capacities.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And what a fantastic resource. I mean, for those students to be able to get introduced to that type of environment where they could start to self-actualize and envision themselves in these surroundings or in these environments that otherwise would be an opportunity that may or may not be there. So the fact that you're able to mentor them is just so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask my final question. Do you have any examples of roles that professional attire plays in shaping that initial impression? Let's say, I understand like it's case by case by business, but like what is that? How do you say on the other side of things it plays that role in shaping that first impression?
I mean, it's as simple as if you go in with just a whacked out outfit that doesn't match like the tone of the business you're looking to be part of, that's going to stick with the person that's interviewing you. I mean, like if you're the face of, the greeter at the office, I mean, if you're the first person somebody sees, or if you're meeting with the clientele of that business and it doesn't match the tone of what you're trying to put out there, that could be the deal breaker. I mean, the decision could be made before the interview even gets off the ground.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So I have a very serious question for you.
Yeah. Oh.
We're in South Florida.
Uh-huh.
And this heat.
I sure do.
Right. So it could be hard to stay cool and comfortable while maintaining a professional look. What advice do you have for us?
Oh, boy. Well, look, there's ways for women with long hair, put it up. There's no shame in putting your hair in a bun or, some sort of updo that looks professional. Even ponytails sometimes fit, depending on, again, where you're working or interviewing. You can dress, there are summer materials. Linens are lighter. They're more breathable. There's fabrics these days that are definitely more breathable. And deodorant. I mean, and then maybe throw a little mini fan in your purse when nobody's looking, but everybody's in the same boat. I mean, look, we get sweaty in South Florida. It just happens. I don't think anybody's going to blame you for that. I mean, short of wearing, a bathing suit, you just, it's hot. It's part of the deal, but yeah.
I think it's interesting because as you can see, I decided to wear this top. But it's hot outside, but in the office, it gets a little cold. So
layers.
Trying to, find that
So
balance.
do you have a shirt underneath where you can walk comfortably outside?
I do.
Exactly. Layers, everybody. Yes. And look, like I said, you take the temperament of the office. If everybody comes in a jacket and it's 90 degrees outside, chances are they're going to say like, all right, jackets off, everybody, or, nobody's that unreasonable anymore. So,
is there an inverse though? And I guess like one of my questions: is there an inverse where like someone gets, let's say you take the temperature of the office, and let's say it is more of a smart casual or like a more of a chiller environment, but one perceives to just is there such a thing as overdressing for the occasion? That's a fun question.
It's a great question. My answer is you can never be overdressed. I just love fashion and I love to see people dressed up. I don't take my own advice. I'm usually if I'm working from my house and, workout pants. But no, I mean, maybe you'll get razzed by some of your colleagues. But no, I think, look, if that's what you feel good in and you're at least meeting the standards of what everybody else is and then some, I don't think there's a problem with that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, go ahead. I just wanted to say thank you for joining us today. For me, I know it was a well-informed conversation. I know I typically like to dress more the casual type, but it's very helpful to help understand, like, yes, Austin, you could do that, but just make sure to set that tone and tenor by the way you groom yourself and present yourself. Yeah. It makes all the difference.
A+, Austin. I've taken everything. You look great. You both look great. And I just want to say it's such an honor to be part of the Snow team and to support the scholars in as many ways as we can. So thank you all for everything you do.
Yes, we appreciate everything that you and Melissa are doing. We really do appreciate it.
We're having fun with it too.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you for listening to College Compass by the experts at scholarship.org. We will be back in 2 weeks with a new episode.
In the meantime, we would love to hear from you. What questions are you wrestling with in your own college journey? Send us your questions and topic ideas. Let's figure this out together. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, review, or share it with others. New episodes drop every other Tuesday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok under the George Snow Scholarship Fund. You can also learn more or reach out to us at scholarship.org/podcasts. We'll see you next time.